Hi kids, it's me, Bob Harris, senior editor here at footballdiehards.com. Time for the Week 10 injury review, preview, update, overview thing. A thing we like to do every Saturday. Kind of set the table and get you up to speed on all the players who have been ruled out or are game time decisions. I go through everything in chronological order, so in the case of the game time decisions, you have a feel for what kind of fallback options you need to have in place given the kickoff time. So, with that said, it's Bye-mageddon, Week 10. 6 teams on byes. The Broncos, Texans, Jaguars, Patriots, Eagles, and Redskins all off this week. Get them out of your lineups. There will be some players who have been ruled out, including Jacoby Brissett just ruled out on Saturday, James Conner, amongst others. So I'll roll through them all now. We'll start out with the early afternoon window of kickoffs. The Cincinnati Bengals will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Chris Moore, all listed as questionable. Illness, ankle and thigh and thumb respectively. For Jackson, he missed Thursday's practice with the illness, came back Friday. Seems like the questionable designation is more a formality than an actual designation. I fully expect him to play. Robert Griffin III would be the guy if not, but expect Jackson, and he's on an epic roll. You can find multiple articles on his prowess throughout, including my DFS 3 and out column this week, so check that out. Marquise Brown, he did add the thigh injury to go with the ankle. The ankle's been lingering for a while. It's cost him a couple games, but the expectation this week is he plays. Same with Moore, but we'll see about him. He hasn't been a primary feature in this offense. That's been very run heavy, like historically run heavy, because Lamar Jackson, he's a great runner. AJ Green on the other side of the ball ruled out, maybe out indefinitely, had some swelling in his ankle. He was supposed to return this week. There are some other issues going on. Ryan Finley gets to start, the rookie quarterback, over Andy Dalton. There may be some issues there. Maybe AJ Green, despite his protestations that he did not want to be traded, secretly wanted to be traded, and maybe there's a lot of speculation about his status anyhow, because he was supposed to come back and he's not. I mean, it creates some uncertainty there, so watch that going forward, but he will not play this week. Matthew Stafford, listed as questionable in Chicago, faced the Bears, hip and back issues. He says he's going to play. All indications are he's going to play. Tim Twentyman from the team's website said as much as well. So he's been dealing with back and hip issues for a little while now, but he took a big hit in Oakland too, and that added to it. But fully expect to play again. A great article on the main page of the site, the Saturday update, outlining how great of a season Matthew Stafford's having and some reasons why. The Tennessee Titans going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, he's back. Fully cleared, practiced fully all week. The Chiefs, have been taking a reasonably cautious approach, I think. A lot of questions, are they forcing him back in too quickly? Well, time will tell, but I really believe they've been in touch with medical professionals on this, multiple doctors. They have a great training staff. It's very transparent. They've been pretty transparent in the process. So my guess is they're not putting him out there unless they feel like he can be out there. If you saw him celebrating at the end of last week's game, a lot of people took that. Mike Vrabel, the Titans coach, took that as an indication that Mahomes was ready to go. So he is, and we'll see how that works out. If you have him and you're trying to decide whether to play him or not, we're ranking him as if he was fine. Top 5 play this week for me. On the other side of the ball, Corey Davis is doubtful with a hip injury. Delaney Walker ruled out. Jonnu Smith will continue to be the primary tight end. A.J. Brown, Ty.J. Sharp, Adam Humphries maybe move up in the receiving rotation. If you hope that Patrick Mahomes is all that this week, maybe the Titans will be playing a little catch-up, and that would behoove Ryan Tannehill to hit all those receivers. So we'll see how that works out. For the Arizona Cardinals at Tampa Bay, David Johnson's back. We'll see what the mix is with him working in with Kenyon Drake. The talk around the Cardinals is that Johnson will continue to play more of a receiving role, and maybe Drake will be busier as the ball carrier. Either way, Johnson practiced fully all week and was removed from the injury report Friday, so seems good to go. Chase Edmonds, of course, has been ruled out with the hamstring injury, and he may miss another week even. So, but at some point, this is going to be a 3-headed monster, and it's going to be very irritating. Other side of the ball, everyone's good to go. That includes O.J. Howard, who's missed the last couple games with a hamstring, and maybe, just maybe, against the Arizona Cardinals, Bruce Arians figures out how to make his tight ends happen. Cameron Braid also with a rib injury off the injury report. For the Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan back from the ankle injury, cost him a game. Then he took the bye week off, practiced this week on a limited basis, but he was announced as a starter on Friday. So expect him to be good to go. Look, you're playing Matt Ryan if you own him. Likely, I mean, he was phenomenal heading up to his injury. So no reason. It's a tougher matchup. Granted, the Saints are very tough. And by the way, in that game, New Orleans, Ito Smith, before I get to the Saints, Ito Smith was just placed on IR as we're speaking here. Got the notification. He had already been ruled out of the game, but they placed him on injured reserve. Brian Hill moves up in the rotation behind Devonta Freeman, who's kind of been struggling a little bit. On the other side of the ball, everyone's back. Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, Traquan Smith, Alvin Kamara says he's fine. Sharing with Latavius Murray, we'll see what that share is. It hasn't been to the level that he shared with Mark Ingram in the past. Maybe we get closer to that level. I talked to Mike Triplett of ESPN.com, who covers the Saints and is a pretty solid fantasy mind as well. And he doesn't think it's going to hit that Ingram level. So we'll hope not. But it's a great matchup. The Falcons defense has been very generous. So all involved are fine plays. Ricky Seals-Jones for Cleveland is listed as questionable. Didn't practice all week. I find it hard to believe he'll play. Kareem Hunt makes his return to the Browns, and he'll mix in with Nick Chubb, and we'll see how much that mixing in is. Certainly he's more capable than Dontrell Hilliard, who's, mixed in a little bit as well. So expect Kareem Hunt to be on the field a fair amount. I wouldn't keep me from playing Nick Chubb if I was going to play him, but the Buffalo matchup is fairly tough as well. So there you have that. Late afternoon kickoffs. Le'Veon Bell, Demaryius Thomas, Chris Herndon, all listed as questionable for the Jets. Adam Gase said on Friday he expects both Bell and Herndon to play. For Herndon, it would be his 2019 debut. He came off suspension prior to Week 6, but injured the hamstring right before he came off suspension. So it's been a few weeks. He's trying to work his way back, and finally it looks like he'll make it. Still listed as questionable. Late afternoon kickoff for him, Bell, and Thomas. Thomas has been playing through his issues. Bell has been practicing on a limited basis all week. Sounds more like soreness than anything else there. On the other side of the ball for the New York Giants, Sterling Shepard out with the concussion, his second concussion of the season. If you'll remember last week, he was cleared, then not cleared. And there's some buzz that maybe he ends up on injured reserve with this one. They're keeping his long-term future in mind. Evan Ingram also ruled out, midfoot sprain. The Giants have a Week 11 bye. He hopes to return after the bye. We'll have to see on that. Remember, the midfoot sprain, that's Cam Newton's issue, and we know where he is right now on IR. So, not saying the severity is the same because I don't know, but similar injuries. For the Indianapolis Colts at Miami, hosting Miami. I'm sorry about that. Jacoby Brissett ruled out on Saturday. So just earlier today, they promoted Chad Kelly to the active roster. He'll serve as Brian Hoyer's backup. Brian Hoyer will start against in a pretty favorable matchup, right? He will not have T.Y. Hilton or Paris Campbell as expected. Both of those players ruled out. Hilton has a calf injury that may keep him out another week, maybe two. So that's worth watching. Campbell just had a procedure on his hand that'll keep him out a couple weeks as well. Zach Pascal has moved into that primary receiving spot and done a good job up till now. Again, favorable matchup. Maybe they go run heavy to protect Hoyer. I thought Hoyer fared well in Pittsburgh. How it ended, notwithstanding. Pittsburgh's very tough defense, and Hoyer put up some points against them that a lot of teams haven't been able to. On the other, speaking of Pittsburgh, they'll be hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Juju Smith-Schuster turned up on Friday, listed as questionable with a toe injury. If you'll recall, he had a toe injury early this season, had played through it. Jalen Ramsey is taunting him. Maybe that'll give him a little extra motivation. He's no Antonio Brown, which, if we're being honest, is probably a good thing at this point. But Juju Smith-Schuster questionable. That'll be game time decision. Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Ryan Switzer behind him. So they'll need to step up if he can't go. James Conner is ruled out already. Benny Snell also out. Roosevelt Nix. It'll be Trey Edmonds again chipping in behind Jalen Samuels. Seems almost like, if we look at last week, Jalen Samuels did great as a receiver, not so great as a rusher where Trey Edmonds really excelled. Edmonds had a rib injury, didn't practice early in the week, but he was removed from the injury report late in the week, so he's fine. Brandon Cooks for the Rams has been ruled out with a concussion of his own, second concussion this season. He visited the same specialist Sterling Shepard did, guys located in Pittsburgh, Dr. Maroon. And the long-term outlook is good for him. Cooks returned to practice on Friday on a limited basis. He is ruled out, but Sean McVay said he did all the things you would expect a player to do coming off. So he just needs to remain asymptomatic, and I think he'll be back next week. But that'll be something to watch next week. Sunday Night Football, Amari Cooper had an MRI on his knee. Turns out it's got a contusion. He did not practice early in the week. Was limited on Friday, limited in a walkthrough on Friday. So he says he's going to play. He says the injury's manageable. We'll see. It's a Sunday night kickoff. Have a fallback plan in place, whether it's maybe Olabisi Johnson, because Adam Thielen is ruled out for the Minnesota Vikings with a hamstring. They have a Week 12 bye. Don't be surprised if he's out next week, then sits out the bye, then tries to come back Week 13. I don't know how excited I am about this passing attack. Our buddy Mike Clay over at ESPN pointed out they're only throwing the ball 50% of the time, which is like second lowest rate in the league. So No Thielen in this one, but BC Johnson moves up in the rotation to the starting lineup. So if you have Amari Cooper, grab one of the Cowboys you think will be on the field. Randall Cobb, if they're available in your league, grab one of the, maybe BC Johnson, and have a fallback option, or grab somebody in Monday night's game. I'm going to get to Monday night's game. The official injury report is not out yet. Josh Gordon, Tyler Lockett, and Luke Wilson have been working on a limited basis this week. Lockett seems likely to play. Gordon, we'll have to see. It's his first week there. And he's been limited by an ankle injury. So we'll see if he makes his debut this week or not. I wouldn't be forcing him into lineups because I don't think you need to force him into your lineups. It's not like he was setting the world on fire with the Patriots. 20 catches in 6 games. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind he'll come in at the low end of the pecking order. In Wilson's case, he says he's going to play. He says he might have a fractured rib. They're going to tape it up. He's going to go. Pete Carroll said he expects him to go. So Jacob Hollister was a touchdown scorer there. Ed Dixon could come back. Watch the main page of the site Saturday to see if they activate him off injured reserve. That's a distinct possibility. For the 49ers, there's worries, people. George Kittle, totally uncertain, has yet to practice this week. We'll know more when the injury report is released Saturday. Again, check the main page of the site, the late breaking update section. I'll have that status when they release it. He had an MRI, and Kyle Shanahan said there were some issues found in the ankle and the knee. So tough guy, George Kittle. He played through it in Arizona after he hurt it early in the game. So we'll see there. Ross Dwelly would be the next man up there at tight end, and he caught a pass last week. So worth noting. Matt Breida working on a limited basis. Raheem Mostert working on a limited basis. Expect both those guys to play. Breida's been playing, he's like a machine, a Terminator. He just keeps going no matter what. The concern is Robbie Gould, who has yet to practice this week. And he strained a quad in Tuesday's practice. He is in serious jeopardy. They signed Chase McLaughlin, who you remember from the Los Angeles Chargers, who was signed when Mike Badgley was out. Fared reasonably well there. I think, look, this is best avoided. It's a kicker, right? Go out on your waiver wire, grab somebody, and just avoid the situation. It's not like Gould has been gold as he was the past this season. So there you have it. That's this week's injury preview, review, update, overview thing. Again, hit the website. I've got constant stream of late-breaking updates go rolling right up through each round of kickoffs. Have tons of other content, DFS content from myself, Kyle Dvorak, former millionaire maker at DraftKings, Bobby Gomes, Justin Linero, Brad Cruz doing sit starts, one of the top high-stakes players in the land doing that. John Lobb's DraftKings sheet of knowledge is out today, so I love reading that. Great read every week. And contributions from Mike Valverde, Matthew Sharon, Evan Tarciano. Tons of great stuff for you to get there. So, and also listen to Football Diehards on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Thursday, 7, but 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. We're there. Saturday night, if you're watching this Saturday, tune into the SiriusXM NFL Radio. Football Diehards are there, 8 to 11 p.m. And then you can catch me with Jeff Mans on the SiriusXM pregame show on Sunday morning, 11 to 1. Also, our Sunday morning DFS roster building with Bobby Gomes and Kyle Dvorak. Live video starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Dial that in, ask them questions. They'll help you tune up your lineups. That's it for this week. Good luck and bye, Mageddon. Let's get through this and head for the playoffs.